leaders have failed us. But together we can fight and we can win and we can call out landlord abuse.
Tenants of an apartment complex in Colina del Sol say they are unfairly being threatened with eviction so the landlord can raise rents by as much as 50%. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Carla Chiquetto.
I'm Marcella Lee. The tenants say they are being harassed, even having their cars towed from their own assigned parking spots. CBS 8's Steve Price has their story.
Residents of this apartment complex in the 4200 block of Winona Avenue in Colina del Sol say the landlord wants them to get out and stay out.
Payless Realty now threatens evictions under the pretext of remodeling, claiming improvements would make property too expensive and too good for its current immigrant, refugee, elderly, and disabled tenants. This is offensive and degrading to our community.
Tenants say they've been hit with sudden rent increases ranging from 38 to 50%, including Maria Cuevas, who has lived here for 20 years.
They have not only raised her rent, but have also given her a 3-day notice to vacate. She has continuously faced injustice and harassment at the hands of her landlord.
Tenants say when they speak up or file complaints, they face retaliation.
These actions have caused me significant stress physically, financially, and me and my wife and my daughter.
Reedy Omar says his rent jumped from $2,000 a month to $2,800, and when he complained, he says the landlord started towing his car over and over again. Now he's hired an attorney.
They've towed his car 6 times now. This property complex, after him making a complaint, she went and then had the towing place had them rivet a no parking sign on his garage door and had him towed from his assigned parking space.
CBS 8 reached out to Payless Realty, but they hung up as soon as we identified ourselves. Now residents are asking the city for help and threatening lawsuits.
This is not what San Diego's about. These are not the kinds of things that landlords in San Diego are supposed to be doing to their tenants, and somebody needs to speak up.
In Colina del Sol, Steve Price, CBS 8.
Thanks, Steve. Today, thousands of patient care workers with the University of California went on strike across the state. This is because of their concerns over the cost of living and affordable housing access. The workers' union says the cost of living on a UC campus is almost 50% higher than comparable campuses nationwide, while their real wages have also been declining over the past couple of years.
A construction crew working at Westfield's Plaza Bonita Mall hit a gas line while digging for a water line overnight. That led to this fire you see, and forced evacuations for people who were working inside that mall. SDG&E tells us they shut down the gas to the mall as a precaution, but no residential customers were affected. The leak is now controlled and crews are continuing to make repairs in the area. The county has issued a violation notice over sewage spilling into the Tijuana River Valley.
The San Diego County Air Pollution Control District says the International Boundary and Water Commission and its contractor are the ones responsible for releasing hundreds of thousands of gallons of wastewater containing sewage, impacting not only the water, but the surrounding air. CBS 8's Shannon Handy shares what community leaders, including the mayor of Imperial Beach, are saying tonight.
This isn't a new issue for people living here in the Tijuana River Valley, but the county says it issued this most recent notice of violation after getting 150 complaints regarding odor in just the past week.
It's undescribable. It's like worse than a porta potty that's tipped over or whatever. It's even worse than that.
Danny Howard has lived in Esther for 25 years and says it smells worse now than ever before.
God forbid if you want to come outside and take a late night walk or something, with your dog. But now I can't even do that because you might be out there a few feet or, a couple hundred yards and it hits you.
Danny and his wife say the odor is so unbearable. Not only do they avoid walking outside, but they also can't open their windows. Other neighbors told me the same thing. Even though they didn't have to, I experienced it firsthand.
I'm here on Saturn. You can see water rushing under the road here with a layer of white foam on top. On the ground, someone wrote, "Take a deep breath." I can tell you the smell out here is just as bad as neighbors describe.
When we're getting hundreds of complaints of sewage odors where folks can't open their windows, can't take their kids to the park. That's a huge concern for us.
Paula Forbes is an air pollution control officer with the county's Air Pollution Control District. She says they've never received so many complaints on this issue. After investigating, the agency found elevated levels of hydrogen sulfide, a colorless gas known for its rotten egg odor. Forbes says it doesn't exceed levels that pose a health risk, but it was enough for the agency to issue a notice of violation to the International Boundary and Water Commission and its contractor for causing a public nuisance. The smell is the result of them failing to properly maintain the Hollister wastewater pump station, which sends sewage flowing into the area.
It failed in June, resulting in approximately 300,000 gallons of this flow to go into the Tijuana River.
Forbes says while there's been fewer complaints, the issue has not been resolved. She plans to follow up until there's compliance. Meanwhile, Imperial Beach Mayor Paloma Aguirre tells me she hopes this notice of violation will convince the governor to declare a state of emergency for an issue that has plagued the area for far too long.
That request has been denied by our governor. But I think that having this as proof of how broad and how severe this is harming these communities, I would hope that it helps persuade him to take further action.
Shannon Handy, CBS 8.
Thank you, Shannon. Fire crews are slowly making progress against the park fire still burning up in Northern California. It's been happening for about a week now, broke out about a week, is the 5th largest in state history. It's grown to more than 390,000 acres, and it is only 18% contained, up from 14% yesterday. Nearly 6,000 firefighting personnel are working to contain the flames. Hundreds of homes and other buildings have been destroyed. We follow one man who returned to find his home reduced to ash and share his message to the man accused of starting the park fire, coming up in our next half hour. Here in Southern California, firefighters are starting to contain the Nixon Fire. That's the one burning just north of the San Diego-Riverside County line. The fire has burned nearly 5,000 acres with containment now up to 5%. Fire officials say a small 2-acre spot fire did cross into San Diego County, but that was quickly put out by firefighters. Cal Fire says smoke may be visible here. We are hearing from some of our viewers that they can see this huge plume of smoke you see. 900 structures are threatened right now. And stay with CBS 8 for the very latest on the Nixon Fire and other wildfires across the state. You can text the word wildfires to 858-571-8888 to get updates and see helpful tips on how to prepare in case you need to evacuate.
After years without a regular service, City Heights now has a dedicated cleaning and maintenance crew. The City Heights Community Development Corporation is now managing a new contract to clean and keep the neighborhood in good shape. The contract includes 5 staff positions, which will serve property and business owners in the area. They'll help with things like landscaping, sidewalk and gutter sweeping, trash removal, and graffiti abatement. The neighborhood group is also planning to hold regular community cleanup events. Hillcrest could look a lot more like downtown San Diego over the next few decades. Mayor Todd Gloria just signed into law a plan that paves the way for high-rise buildings and thousands of new housing units. CBS 8's Kelly Hessedal talked to the mayor this afternoon and has the latest from Hillcrest.
Absolutely. We can expect to see a lot more construction in Hillcrest in the coming years. The city has this vision for Hillcrest, one of this vibrant neighborhood with a lot of energy, a place where people live near where they work.
This is really a momentous day, not just for Hillcrest, but for our entire city. I want you to think of healthcare professionals that are working just down the street at UC San Diego Health or at Scripps Mercy Hospital, actually being able to live in the same neighborhood where they work.
And Mayor Gloria signed into law an updated community plan for Hillcrest a few hours ago, making it official. So this is the future, 17,000 housing units with the potential of high-rise buildings of 20 stories or more, an LGBTQ plus cultural district along University and down Fifth Avenue, an entertainment district. And the plan also includes protections for businesses that have been operating in Hillcrest for more than 30 years, a promenade, walkable spaces. Now, there still remains opposition to this plan. People who say the infrastructure, the traffic, the parking are all going to be a problem. I talked to people today who are very disappointed with the council's vote last night, who say they feel like their voices aren't being heard. Here's the mayor's response to that.
This plan started in 2009. So we have literally had more than 10 years of community review and input. It's absolutely understandable that people fear change in their community. I've seen and witnessed that for many, many years. What I also see is that when that change is implemented, those very same people usually embrace it and say this was good for the community.
Yeah, and that was something I was curious about too. So I asked the city about it, and they told me there are some mixed-use residential projects that are more feasible now. But keep in mind, just because this plan has passed and is now law, it doesn't mean that those projects immediately are going to go forward. They will still need to be vetted by the council and approved by the council. This plan just opens the door for more development.
Thanks, Kelly. Helping pets and people experiencing homelessness, that's still ahead.
Plus, a groundbreaking ceremony for a first-of-its-kind project in the South Bay.
And a big night for soccer fans. Manchester United taking on Real Betis here at Snapdragon Stadium. That story coming up after the break.
Yeah, and we are also talking about a switch up in our forecast. So we are looking at more heat, more humidity, and a chance for thunderstorms across the mountains and the desert starting tomorrow. We'll take a look at your complete forecast after the break.